It's like a Merkin, but for your head.
You mean like a wig?
Hello friends, and welcome to another video. Today, I'm going to be getting a Victorian makeover and going to a ball. In fact, I think that's my dress now. Now, over the past many years, we've done some investigations into fashion history on this channel, trying out a number of looks from different decades, like the 1970s or the 1770s, and learning about everything from the leg of mutton sleeves from the 1890s to the bullet-shaped bras of the 1950s.
Look, Safiya, there's a plane. It's like your bra.
Is it going to space?
What can I say? I'm a nerd. I've always been a nerd. My fate was pretty much sealed during the many educational road trips my parents took me and my brother on as kids, from Colonial Williamsburg to Independence Hall, Gettysburg, and Abraham Lincoln's log cabin in Lerna, Illinois. And through our forays into the past on this channel, I've discovered an entire fashion history community filled with creators who, beyond crafting, sewing, and styling incredibly beautiful and intricate historical clothing, also regularly get together for historical balls, teas, cruises, and soirees to have a place to show off their latest creations. And this community, of course, includes our friends Abby Cox and Nicole Rudolph, who took us to Colonial Williamsburg a few years ago to show us the ropes. And the leatherworks. And so when Abby and Nicole invited me to a Victorian ball hosted by their friend Sosteen in Chicago this past spring and said that they would give me a goth Victorian makeover for the occasion, of course, I said yes. Duh. I mean, I was already sold, but when they said I could be goth too, that really sealed the deal. So if you guys are on board for this bustle-filled fever dream, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any future adventures. And in case you're watching this on your TV, just press up on your remote, select my channel icon, and hit subscribe. It helps a ton and lets us know you want more unhinged historical content like this. And now, let the goth Victorian makeover begin. So the Victorian era ranged from the years 1837 to 1901, and over those decades, its fashion was marked by wildly changing silhouettes that swung from this to this to this. It was basically a 60-year-long game of where should the volume go next. So we gotta pick a decade. Thankfully, because of the ball's theme of Art Nouveau and aestheticism, it narrows our scope a bit specifically to the late 1860s to the 1910s, if we wanted to spill into the Edwardian a little bit. So in order to help us pick, Abby and Nicole drove themselves and a car full of fabric from Indiana all the way down to our studio in North Carolina. All right, so Abby and Nicole are here after a long journey.
Wasn't that bad.
Wasn't that bad.
Wasn't that bad.
And they've brought me some treasures. And it turns out that Abby, ever opinionated, already had a distinct vision of what we should do.
Please, can we do 1870s? Please, Safiya, I want to put you in 1870s so bad.
Who am I to say no to such passion? I think she wanted to do the 1870s partly because it's kind of an overlooked decade. In popular media, there's pretty much just the Paradise, the Buccaneers, Anna Karenina, and Little House on the Prairie, and partly because Abby thought the proportions of the 1870s silhouette would work well for my body in particular, as it pretty much consists of a shorter, higher-looking torso, and then a long, flowing, voluminous bottom half. Sound familiar? I mean, my legs do start like right here, so
yeah.
This is my hips right here.
I know.
Whereas the 1880s torso is longer, tighter, and more architectural, which suits someone like Abby a lot more than it would suit me. All legs, nice to meet you.
Yeah, all torso, hi, nice to meet you.
And though I do love me a strong leg of mutton sleeve, we've already done a few looks in the 1890s, 1900s area. And so we're gonna break the trend. We're going 1870s.
Like,
I mean, now we know.
Now we know.
I'm an 1870s baddie.
You are an 1870s baddie.
Now, if you've watched The Gilded Age, you'll know that another thing that was popular in the Victorian era was opera, which also happens to be the sponsor of this video. Not the concept of opera itself, but the best browser for everything you do online, Opera. Now, we are pretty big opera fans at this point and have been using it for actually years now. I kind of consider it my little productivity hub for writing, online shopping, and researching different topics for future videos. This month's hyperfixation, Korean Baskin-Robbins. And what I love the most about Opera is all of its customizable features. Like, to give your browser a little makeover of your own, you can super easily change your Opera browser's theme. There isn't a Victorian theme yet, but Legend has kind of a medieval Game of Thrones look to it. I especially like the dragon. And then of course we have my forever GOAT, their Tab Island feature, which allows you to group together similar tabs and collapse and expand them. theme. And with Opera's newest update, you can even color code and name your tabs whatever you want to help add a little method to your madness. Opera's latest update also has handy one-click integrations with Google services like Gmail, Google Calendar, and Google Translate, as well as one-click access to Twitch and YouTube, so you can watch content directly in the sidebar without opening any new windows or tabs. And of course, you can always click the video pop-out icon to detach and move it anywhere on the screen you want. See? What did I say? Control panel vibes, right? So if you want to support our channel and check out Opera, it's totally free. Just use my link in the description below to download Opera today. So with that, thanks again to Opera, and now back to the Victorian era. Now, in the 1870s, it felt like the Western world was rushing towards modernity. Railroads, industrialization, department stores, and new technologies were popping up everywhere. But it was right before the mainstreaming of some really big changes like the telephone and electricity, and the fashions were still very over-the-top Victorian impractical. And because Abby was pretty sure I was gonna say yes, she had brought some authentic 1870s pieces from her historical collection to show us.
I don't have a hoarding problem. I'm a collector. It's different. It's different.
Actually, I'm gonna use that. And when thinking about the 1870s silhouette, beyond having that shorter torso, what was the vibe?
Booty. Bustle. We
Booty.
love it.
Love it. Booty,
Short.
bustle, we love it. Skirts had been mostly growing throughout the first half of the 19th century, and I think the giant hoop skirts of the 1860s were about as big as they could get. So it seemed like the only logical next step in the 1870s was to move the volume around to the back. So this is the bustle. And in order to achieve this silhouette, you needed a fair amount of undergarments. First up is the chemise or underlayer, followed by the historically accurate open crotch drawers. I'm gonna leave it a mystery as to whether or not I'm wearing anything underneath.
That's all about you.
That's between you and me.
Yeah, that's between the two of us only. Tyler's not invited.
And then for the first structural piece, a spoon bust corset that Abby had made for me herself. Named for the spoon-shaped curve at the lower front, it helped smooth and support the stomach more than earlier corset styles.
Gorgeous. We got that.
My chest.
You are ready.
Drum. And then next up is the bustle itself.
Let me in.
And even though the effect it gives looks kind of like you're sticking your butt out, your butt is actually mostly where it usually is.
I feel it on top of my butt, like just sitting there.
And the bustle is just kind of like an awning that juts out from your behind. And even though it looks kind of heavy, it's actually not, because it's mostly air back there.
For those of you watching at home and you're like, hey, does this fit? It's fine. This is not important. The important part is this down here and this right here.
Wow.
And then finally, we need our petticoat.
I can see it coming, yeah.
It's looming. Oh, I see it in the reflection.
If you say petticoat 3 times, it's gonna appear.
Which is used to smooth out the lobster tail-esque ridges of the bustle and add even more volume.
Oh,
The back is backing.
oh, she's full.
Yeah.
And if you were wondering, like I was, if you can actually sit in this giant thing, it turns out you can.
And the skirt, it collapsed.
Yep.
Like a little accordion slinky situation.
And as we found out, in a pinch, you could even live in it.
Where's Abby?
Oh my god. That was very Danny DeVito of you.
Tiny homes have really gone too far. They've really gone too far.
I guess in our case, it's more like a covered wagon.
Where are we going? There's nowhere to go. We're going straight to the lights.
And now that we had all of our Victorian undergarments, we could move on to the actual dress. And Abby had brought an actual 1870s dress from her collection that we could take inspiration from. This is a more muted daytime dress.
The bows are kind of giving Gen Z. I like it. Yeah.
Yeah, this is Gen B.
But the general gist of the silhouette is gonna be the same. For an evening gown, we just needed to glam it up with shinier fabric, more trim, and a slightly more scandalous neckline.
And that's the general thing of a lot of the 19th century. There's a base silhouette, and then the trim is what makes it personal.
And once we had that reference point, Abby and Nicole started mapping our dress onto me using this glazed cotton fabric, which they were then gonna use as a template to cut out our actual fabric, for which we had chosen this nice green silk.
It was called Arsenic on the website. So I was like, vibes.
Sold.
Yeah, I'm in.
And then these other black fabrics and dark accessories and trims are what we're gonna use later to make our dress goth. But first we need the dress itself. Cue 48-hour Abby and Nicole sewing montage, and also cue me attempting to explain what they did. Maybe in Abby's video she can actually tell you. Now Nicole took on the bodice, which involved a lot of finessing, cutting and fitting the panels together, shaping and flattening the seams, and also doing some very intricate hand sewing on these eyelets for the back of the bodice, which seemed hard, but she dominated, and Abby took on the skirt, which was notably enormous.
This thing is massive.
I know, right?
One of the major details at the back was the cartridge pleating, which is basically a way of gathering a lot of fabric into a concentrated area. And these cartridge pleats are going to go right over the bustle to help give it even more of a flowing fountain-like effect back there. A few other developments during this mad sewing dash.
We're going on a mission.
Abby combat rolled across the warehouse to kidnap a mannequin she was definitely already allowed to use.
Run!
Croissants were acquired, McDonald's also appeared,
This is critical to the process.
and at some point, everyone tried on the T-Pain Crocs.
Well, so far they actually go over my leg. That's impressive.
And after about 48 hours, Abby and Nicole had something that was basically our dress.
How you doing over there?
I'm great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Floor time.
And I think that the mayhem paid off, because when I tried it on, things were looking good.
You see the front, right?
Yeah.
How about this side?
Oh!
That's a hello.
Yeah.
You can add a whole turkey back there.
From the skirt, which was just as huge as Abby promised it would be,
It looks great. Oh yeah. Oh, it is indeed a table. A small table, but a table nonetheless.
Yeah.
Ashtray.
An ashtray. That's pretty good, Ty.
to the bodice, which had the cutest little eyelets that you ever did see.
I think it looks good.
Yeah.
I think it looks good.
The armpits are in the right place.
The armpits are in the
neckline
right place.
is in the right place.
I think it looks awesome.
So, we have a dress, people, and I think now is the time where we can start figuring out the goth part. Now, as someone who pretty much only wears all black all day, every day, I was very excited about this, although I did want to make sure I was not being historically inaccurate.
Is black okay even though I'm not currently actively mourning anyone?
Oh yeah.
But it turns out matte black is mourning, shiny equals party.
The reason why this is not mourning is because of the sparkle. This is not sad.
No.
Nothing about that is sad.
Yes.
And we had a bunch of different, not sad, black trims to test. Black sheer fabrics, black netting, black lace, and black sequins.
It's giving Josefina for some reason.
And besides being something I just want to do, it turns out goth is actually pretty historically accurate for the Victorian time period.
Victorians loved goth macabre things.
They love drama, they love nature, and nature includes things like spiders and bats and spider webs and deadly plants.
And besides dramatic nature, death was also much more present in daily life for them than it is for a lot of us now.
Right.
So they're like, how do we manage not being stressed out about the fact that everyone's dying from tuberculosis all the time? And they're like, well, if we romanticize it, it won't be as scary to people.
So that's where you get things like public mourning rituals, like wearing black and death jewelry, having picnics in cemeteries, and holding seances. There's just a general fascination with nature, decay, and the circle of life.
Tuberculosis was the sexy one.
That is a whole other can of worms that we aren't going to be opening right now. But to top it all off, this also ties in with the theme of the ball, which, as you remember, is aestheticism and Art Nouveau, which, to be kinda reductive, were artistic movements that were about a desire for nature and natural beauty as a reaction to rapid industrialization. So art and clothing from this movement is full of organic details like flowers, vines, insects, curves, and flowing lines. So things like spiders, webs, and being kinda goth are all perfectly on theme, actually. So we're gonna play into that.
Very spiderwebby.
Yes.
Very cobwebby.
That's good.
Yes,
Yes.
we like cobwebs.
As Abby and Nicole drip me out with some dangling sparkles, some brainy ruffled textures, some asymmetric gauzy shrouds, and of course, black lace.
It's called Pimp My Bottom Half.
Apparently, for a Victorian ball gown, it's nearly impossible to add too much stuff to it, so if anyone's worried about that, don't be.
Yeah, this whole experience is very much being decorated like a Christmas tree.
Yep.
Like I am the tree.
Yeah.
The shape, the look, the vibe, it's tree.
It's tree.
It's tree.
It's tree.
On the topic of spiders, Abby and Nicole did at some point sweep a piece of black fabric around my butt and then pull the pleats up.
We're doing the bug butt. We're doing the bug butt.
Oh my God.
It's a spider
You're
butt.
doing a spider
We're
butt.
giving you
It's a spider.
To turn my skirt into a theme-appropriate spider abdomen shape,
Look at your booty.
It's a bug.
which felt like it worked on multiple levels.
It's Beetlejuice in the streets. Beetlejuice in the sheets.
Yes, 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 Tyler, yes!
And after all that sewing and tinkering, I would say our dress was at like 80% completion. So the next step was for Abby and Nicole to take the dress home with them and finish it off. And then they'll meet us at the ball.
All right, so we will see you guys in Chicago.
And a few months later, the weekend of the ball finally arrived.
All right, so we are here on the day of the ball at the Drake Hotel in Chicago with Jenny Rose.
And Jenny Rose is a historical makeup and hair expert who is gonna help us get a full 1870s look from head to toe.
There are some boxes with some modern but historical hair behind me.
And we're gonna start off with the makeup. Now, we're not gonna be doing a 100% faithful Victorian makeup look.
Yeah, we're definitely not doing it the way they did. Because one, a lot of the things that they were using were poisonous. So that's that.
And also because officially in the Victorian period, makeup was mostly frowned upon for proper ladies. Being visibly painted was something that was for actresses or women of ill repute.
Women did wear it because we want to look pretty. But you were supposed to look like you weren't wearing makeup, that you were just naturally beautiful.
So women employed clever stealth tactics and homemade beauty regimens to skirt by.
OG clean girl look.
It's exactly the OG clean girl look.
Now, the general Victorian beauty standard was fair, even skin, rosy cheeks and lips, and wide eyes, basically delicate but healthy. And besides skincare like cold creams or lotions, one of the ways women achieved that ideal complexion was with face powder, which was generally seen as a more acceptable cosmetic.
I think it's the reason they were using powders instead of creams, because creams was painting.
Yeah, technically no painting involved.
And then you could add a little red into the powder to create a rouge effect for a rosy flush in the cheeks.
So it wasn't really makeup, it was powder.
Right.
It was just your face powder.
Eyebrows didn't need a technicality, as they were deemed okay to shape and darken because that could be framed as grooming your hairs rather than painting your skin. Fake lashes, however, are a bit less historically defensible. And same with the setting spray, but that was a must.
Patrick Star stuff's coming out.
Yeah. This is the I'm not messing around. I am going to a ball, I am dancing, and I am sweating.
And though Victorian ladies might wear a tinted lip salve or pinch her lips to get a natural pinkness, the raspberry lip was definitely pushing it. But it did look cute.
Ooh. I feel like the vibe is there's some makeup on, but actually not that much.
And also, I'm not poisoned. Phew. All right, now for the hair.
All right, is it time for the mystery boxes to open?
Yes, you get to open your boxes.
And Jenny Rose had spent a lot of time preparing us some custom hair pieces for our look. One of which was like a ringlet piece.
It's like a slinky.
And one of which was this kind of Merkin-looking topper.
Oh, hello. It's a founding father.
At first I thought we were gonna have to choose between them, but it turns out...
No.
No, oh, they're both going on the head.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, great. Oh, I had no idea. Okay, great.
Apparently for this time period, the hair is a lot like the dress. More is always better. Which also explains the large amount of hair accessories that Jenny Rose brought, including several cute and on-theme animal options, like this sparkly spider, and also notably this unhinged crow, which I did like.
Oh my God. Are you a huge Baltimore Ravens fan, or are you just happy to see me?
But I think, per our theme, the spider was the right call.
We can keep the crow on the table.
I think he should keep us company.
It's my friend, his name's Edgar.
Now, 1870s hairstyles in general were very elaborate, structured, and built, and for a ball or evening look, the style could be especially ornate, with the hair often arranged in curls, braids, and rolls, piled on top of the head and or cascading down the back. Obviously, the vibe for our look here is ringlets.
Oh yeah.
You look amazing, and we're done now.
Done. Done.
I think part of the idea was that since the dresses were so big, visually the hair needed to hold its own.
Now we're gonna add some things. The Merkin. We're adding the Merkin.
And it turns out that hair pieces, or switches, or false curls as they could have been called, were extremely common in the 1870s. As in order to achieve these voluminous styles, you were pretty much expected to add in some amount of false hair.
I like the tactical bobby pin bracelet. I love it.
And after both hair pieces were on and woven in, we physics tested everything to make sure nothing would fall off.
Ooh, 1870s headbanging.
And once she was piled on high,
oh my God, she's tall.
we needed to deck her out with our comb, our feathers, our little green tiara, some extra jewels, and of course our spider.
I like this current vibe where you are Bunny Velastro and I am a cake. It's the Cake Boss segment.
And once Jenny Rose was happy with the final product,
Maxed out?
I think it could have more, but I don't think it needs more.
Okay.
We think it's done.
this is our finished head makeover.
Yeah, I see the feather right here. Hello. And then, is that the spider?
Yep.
There he is. Just hanging out.
Dramatic, mysterious, and ready for the ball in more ways than one. And as the sun went down, it was time to get into our dress. So Abby and Nicole, who had been just off screen the whole time, helped me back into our historical undergarments.
It approaching me.
And finally, the dress itself, which as promised, was now fully bedecked with even more trim than we had seen last time. So this is our final goth Victorian look.
Oh my god, it looks crazy. You guys are crazy.
I think it turned out pretty amazing.
Yeah, you seen the bottom half, girl?
I can't even feel it, but I can sense a presence. I can sense a presence in the room.
Abby, Nicole, Jenny Rose, and everyone who worked on it did such an incredible job.
Oh, there she is. Presence. Oh wow, it's really horizontal, isn't she? Isn't she horizontal back there?
Mesa-esque.
Yeah. Oh.
And I do want to call attention to this new embroidered spider detail, which was added by Sosteen, the hostess of the ball herself, which was really the spider on top of the cake.
All right, what's next? Should we go?
Let's go to the ball, baby.
Should we go to the ball?
I gotta get dressed.
Tyler has to get dressed.
My suit is in Memphis.
Now, Tyler originally had a black and white tuxedo with tails that actually fit him. Unfortunately, that tuxedo got left at home and then express mailed and then got stuck in Memphis. So this is actually Sosteen's husband's 1890s suit that Nicole speed altered. He is pretty tall, so the shoulders were a little low, but Nicole said that that was historically accurate and vibesy.
The cravat is giving Oscar Wilde to me.
Yeah.
Oscar Wilde and his gothic girlfriend vibe.
It's sexy, yeah. Thank you, Sosteen's husband.
So with everyone in some outfit, we were finally ready to go to the ball. Now this dress didn't feel that crazy when walking around in it, as actually, the bustle creates some nice airflow under there.
It's much cooler while walking.
The back of your dress is actually just an air conditioner.
It's circulating back there.
And people were definitely hyping us up as we made our way through the hotel. So I was feeling good.
Beautiful.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I love it. We're just hanging out.
But then came our first obstacle.
I learned how to enter the car like this.
The classic 1870s experience of cramming yourself and all of your friends into an Uber. Thankfully, it was an Uber XL, but even then, it was a tight fit.
All right, Abby said this is the pink ball experience. Being stuffed in the Uber. This is exactly what it's like.
But after a short ride,
It's like a heavily fabric clown car.
we arrived in Logan Square, where Sosteen was hosting her Art Nouveau and Aestheticism ball at the Stan Mansion. And on the way in, we almost added another attendee to our party.
You guys look great. I'm so jealous. Oh my goodness. Join us.
There are dozens of us.
Now, the ball was broken out into multiple floors, photo stations, food, dancing, drinks, and a ton of people in full historical regalia. And we decided to start our journey in the photo room, where we ran into Sosteen herself and her husband, who was one of the heroes of the night.
Thank you. Looks good on you. Thank you. Anytime.
Came in the clutch. Now I'm historically accurate.
Yeah. Appreciate it.
And though Sosteen tried to encourage us to go straight for the absinthe,
Should we do spoons of absinthe?
Yes. I guess that's the kind of night it's going to become. Absinthe and Portillo's goes hand in hand.
Absinthe, then Portillo's.
I figured that should probably be our last activity of the night, and the first thing we should probably do is take our photos.
Okay, so we're gonna take some old-timey photos. Well, we have one photo session that's like just normal photos, and then we have old-timey tintype photos. Abby is following me around and fixing my dress all the time. I actually really appreciate it.
For some reason, I had the impression that these tintype photos were gonna be long exposure, so I thought we were gonna have to stay still for a very long time, but apparently they were not. So naturally, I totally messed up our first attempt.
All right, the first one scared the shit out of Safiya, but apparently it looks fine. We took the second one somber too. I think we got it. We could have done Charlie's Angels, but we went somber.
I think our second one turned out better. If you see it on Instagram, throw it a like, please.
It's like one of those files.
After After that, we headed upstairs into the main ballroom. Now, Tyler and I had actually taken a secret Zoom dance class in preparation for this.
So if you would like to participate in the Grand March.
But I do want to emphasize that that does not guarantee any level of skill.
I don't remember anything.
So please, take it easy on us. Some of the dances we learned were simple enough, like the Grand March, which was basically just gallivanting around in a circle and then through the middle.
Hell yeah!
As well as some basic waltz steps. And though I don't think we were really floating across the ballroom, we were kind of getting into the vibe.
There it is. Oh wow, we're killing it now.
And at that point, we thought maybe we should quit while we were ahead and grab some food.
I just saw somebody go by with a loaded plate.
Oh!
She said don't judge, and I was like, no, I want to do what you're doing.
Oh, no, I want to emulate only.
Exactly.
And let me tell you, Sosteen really brought the rain with the dinner buffet.
It's so full.
There were caprese skewers, bruschetta fixings, fried raviolis, and deviled eggs.
Sosteen is bringing it with the deviled eggs, man.
Which, I don't know how she knew, are my favorite.
This is a good ball. It was like a way more fun prom.
But after recharging, we were ready for another round of waltzing. Unfortunately, the dance floor had upgraded to some more challenging steps.
We do not know how to do this.
We're gonna get owned out there.
We're gonna get owned out there.
But for some reason, we were not deterred.
And 3, 2, 1, let's go.
Here we go.
Here we go. Here we go. Right where our producer can't see us.
This one we didn't know how to do was a Viennese waltz, so we just stayed in the middle and did our normal waltz steps.
Pretty good. We didn't die.
And we decided to do the polka.
Oh no, the polka. That's the one we don't know.
Yeah.
Even though we also did not know how to do the polka.
How does it work again?
I don't know. We got
Where to follow you?
So you're only gonna see this 5-second clip. Thankfully, they followed it with kind of a group mixer cool down dance, which was a lot easier to follow.
I think by the end I figured it out. How'd you do?
I mean, I was a fort, baby. I held it down.
And with that, it felt like it was time for us to hang up our dancing shoes.
Should we go get some absinthe? All right, let's go.
Now, absinthe was a very popular 19th century drink, as it was seen as French, sophisticated, and bohemian.
Now that's what I call green.
And to make the traditional absinthe drink, you place a sugar cube on this slotted spoon and then slowly drip water over the sugar cube and into the glass below. Apparently, I way overdid the pour on this first one. That became Tyler's cup, but this second cup is more of the idea.
I made 2, but the first one is very watered down. I'm sorry.
Now, I was pretty pleased with this.
Tastes like a Jaeger bomb.
But we quickly learned that we had not been drinking Sosteen's special absinthe.
Yeah.
So Sosteen is bringing us more absinthe.
Yeah.
Abby is stone facing me in the background right now.
Which apparently was a direct historical recreation of a 19th century absinthe that she had imported from France.
Is this where I'm getting hazed? Am I getting hazed right now?
And when you added the sugar and water, it turned this like milky lighter green color.
So that's how you know it's the historically accurate way.
Is it stronger?
No, they're both about 130 proof or 62%.
Sorry, I just blacked back in. What are we doing?
Oh, it tastes a little bit less like a Jaeger bomb. A little bit more like a fennel seed. This is the refined absinthe, okay? This is the good stuff.
This is the good stuff.
And I don't know if it was the absinthe making me hallucinate.
Now that absinthe is capital. What, you don't think I looked up some 1870s slang before this?
But with all the dancing, tintype flashes, and being surrounded by people dressed like they had stepped right out of a painting, the whole evening started to feel like maybe the edges of time had blurred just a little. So I would say this night really was my goth Victorian dream come true. Not only did Abby, Nicole, and Jenny Rose pimp me out from head to toe, Tyler and I got to waltz, Sosteen got me drunk, and it was so fun to meet so many members of the historical fashion community that I recognized from their videos online. But with that, it was time for us to make our exit to a less historically accurate location.
Come on out.
So we headed out into the night and packed ourselves into another Uber to end the night how so many late nights in Chicago end.
Here we go.
At Portillo's.
I want a hot dog.
And with a Chicago-style hot dog in hand,
Good night.
I think we can say Goth Victorian Makeover a check. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to check out Abby's video after this one. And with that, I will see you guys next time.